Hello, crafty friends, and welcome to my channel, Create with Kalia. I'm Kalia. Today I'm going to be working on scrapbooking these pictures. I have two 4x6 photos, and then I'm going to be reducing the size of these other photos to fit this sketch, which was created by Jama Mulmy for a team challenge. I'm going to be using the Homemade Sweetness paper collection for this layout. I'm going through the different patterns that are included in this collection, and I really like this blue pattern that I plan to use for the circles that are part of the sketch that I chose. This paper collection is one of my favorite recent collections and is part of the March online exclusives that recently became available. This video is also part of the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team's March Mystery Envelope. Our challenge for this month was put together by Jenny, and she challenged us to put together a layout using the wedding poem Something Old, Something New, Something Borrowed, and Something Blue as our inspiration for our layout. I'm bringing in the Filled with Sweetness stamp and die set, which is part of the Homemade Sweetness Suite collection. I love this die of the jam jar and how large it is. I also love that Stampin' Up! Thought ahead to creating a large die that you can use to create a card. This post in the center will create a score mark so you can fold the die cut image in half to create a card. If you're going to use it as part of your embellishments for a scrapbook layout, you can just cut down through the score line and use the jam jar as your embellishment. To Jenny's challenge of using something old and something new, I'm bringing in the Country Woods collection as one of the older elements that I want to incorporate into my layout. I love the wood grain textures that are part of the Country Woods collection and think that they'll pair really well with the Homemade Sweetness newer paper collection. I'm looking at some of the scraps that I have in my stash from the other times that I've used this collection, and I'm going to bring in the gingham pattern paper that I've already decided to use as part of the circles. I'm trying to decide what paper to use as my base for my layout. And although I love this jam jar pattern, it's way too busy to be what I build my layout on. I also love the lined notebook paper pattern. However, I think I want to use that for documenting school layouts for this year. I start looking at some of the patterns that are in the Country Woods collection to see if I can find something that I feel works well with the gingham pattern. I really like this early espresso pattern. However, I think it might be a little bit too dark for what I'm looking for. So I bring in some white willow cardstock because I think that that's going to end up being my second layer on this layout. I do like these together, but I'm not 100% sold on using them. If you remember, part of the challenge is to use different blues as well. So next I'm going to bring in some of the Country Woods blue wood green that's included in the pack because I want to make sure I'm incorporating a lot of different blues into my layout. I think that the wood green is a little too dark for what I'm looking for, especially on this early espresso piece of paper. So then I bring in the gingham and I really like that, but I continue to feel like the early espresso wood grain is too dark for this layout. Next, I bring in a much lighter wood grain, and I do like that, but the overall feeling I want to convey in my layout is of sitting at the kitchen table looking at the canned goods. I personally have a darker kitchen table, and so I'm feeling like although I like this together, the lighter wood grain is maybe too light. I also love this paint chip pattern. However, that's definitely not the aesthetic that I'm looking for. So I'm going to move on to the next wood grain, which is a little bit darker. I've used this one that has the orange tinge to it in several layouts, so I'm ready to try using one of the other wood grains that I still have from this pack. So I'm going to move past this one with the orange, and instead I'm going to try the next one behind it. And when I pair them together, I really like the way that this looks. So I think I'm going to go with this wood grain as my base layer for this layout. Thinking about the prompt of something old, I do still want to use more of this wood grain from Country Woods in my layout. So I bring the design back in one more time and plan to keep this paper in mind for the flags that are in the upper right-hand corner of the left page on the design. I'm going to take my two pieces of wood grain paper and I'm going to place them next to each other to make sure I have the directionality of the paper figured out before I start laying layers down. You can see that this particular pattern has one corner that's a little bit darker on the paper. So I'm going to make sure that that corner is on opposite sides of my layout to help draw your eye across the page. That's one thing I like to do when I'm using the same pattern paper on both sides of my layout. If there is some kind of way to make sure the papers are complementing each other rather than being twins to each other. When I first saw the sketch that I'm using, one of the things I thought of immediately were canning lids. So that became my inspiration for this layout and how I ended up building it. I created these circles on my Cricut using lunar luster paper and a Cricut pen along with a font from Cricut. I'm going to punch the lids out of one of my Spotlight on Nature dies to help them look more like lids before I add them to my layout, and I'll show you that in a moment. I've brought my 4x6 pictures in and I have matted those according to the sketch. Now I'm looking to add some additional color to my layout. Part of our prompt was to use something that is borrowed, and what Jenny meant by that was to use something that is not part of the collection that we chose as our main collection. So I'm going to borrow the Gears and Textures stamp set to add some additional dimension to my layout by stamping on my white willow cardstock base. Looking at the pink that's on the placemat that's in my picture, I compare Strawberry Slush and Melon Mambo and realize that I like the Melon Mambo better. It's a brighter, bolder pink, and that works better with the placemat that's in the picture. I'm going to use the splat stamp and the other paint texture background stamp that's included with this set to stamp on my white willow cardstock. Like I said before, I'm trying to kind of give the feel of a cookbook having been used for creating these different canned items. So I like the idea of stamping what could be jam spills and splats from having worked on the canning to make it look like a loved cookbook, since that's what most of my well-loved cookbooks currently look like. If you are a cook and have a well-loved cookbook, I would love to hear what your favorite cookbook is. Mine is the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and I have a very specific edition of it that is my absolute favorite. Next, I'm going to bring my gingham paper back in. And one of the things I do want to make sure that you note when looking at the paper is that it does have some directionality to it. So if you're going to replicate this layout, you'll want to pay attention to how you orient the papers. I've started bringing my canning lids back in that I printed using the lunar luster paper. And once I cut them out using the Spotlight on Nature die, I'm so happy with how they look. Having that little bit of a milled edge on the side of the paper really makes it feel like a canning lid to me. I also realized that I do need one more picture on this layout to bring more color. And so even though I already have a copy of the peaches printed, I'm going to print a smaller version of that photo and include it on the right-hand side of my page. Next, I'm going to bring in the triangles that are part of the layout sketch. One of the things that can be difficult about cutting a square into two triangles is ending up with the pointed ends getting crunched. So my tip for avoiding that is to make sure that you open the gate of your trimmer and move your blade to partly over what you're planning to cut. Then move your blade down and back up to finish the cut, and you shouldn't end up with crunched ends. For the triangles, I initially thought I would use the gingham paper. However, I realized that I want to bring in a pop of color. So for something both old and borrowed, I'm using paper from the Marbled Elegance collection, which was more of a Valentine's Day collection. I've brought in another piece of paper from Marbled Elegance to help me create my banner at the top left of my left-hand page. You can see that I've also brought in some different blue papers, two of which were from the Country Woods collection, and one which was from the Homemade Sweetness collection. I want to make sure that the banner has a finished look, so I've brought in the neutral matte dots in white, and I'm using the larger of the two dots to create a finished look by adding dots between each of the banner elements. I have glued the top of the banner down to the page, but to help give more dimension, I am placing a little piece of foam tape behind the lower part of the banner to help lift it up off the page, which creates some additional movement and creates a really cool effect. Next, I'm bringing in the Filled with Sweetness stamp set again. I'm going to use my black Memento ink and my Misty to make sure that I can get a really dark image by stamping several times on some white Willow cardstock before I die cut the images out. I'm also using the strawberry and the blueberry images from the same stamp set, and I'm going to die cut those as well to help me start creating my embellishments. Although I love the size of the jam jar, when I actually bring it into my layout and try to find a place to put it, I'm realizing that it is so large that I'm not able to place it on this layout without covering up the jar of jam I have in my hand, which I don't want to do. As I try moving it around the page to find an alternate location for the jar, I realize that it's just not going to work on this layout because it's going to end up covering something that I want to make sure I can see. So I'm going to set it aside and I'll use it for a different project. I start bringing in the other die cuts that I've made, and I look at my sketch one more time to see where the embellishments were placed within the sketch. I want to add my embellishments in roughly the same areas, but also keep in mind the visual triangle and make sure that I'm creating that as well when I place my embellishments. When I was stamping earlier, I also accidentally smeared some of the Melon Mambo ink right below my journaling spot, so I'm using the strawberry to cover that up. I'm going to start coloring in my strawberries and blueberries so that I can start adding them to my layout. I'm using the shaded Spruce Stampin' Blends to color in the strawberry tops. I start by using the brush end to add some of the darker color to the strawberry, and then I'm going to use the lighter blend to add some additional color to make it look like it has more than one tone. Next, I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy Stampin' Blends, and I'll use those to color in the blueberries. The way that I like to use the Stampin' Blends to color is I typically end up using the brush end, and then I use short little flicking motions to add the color. That seems to help make the color nice and even. If I'm working in a really tight corner, like on the blueberries or the strawberry tops, then I'll use a little dotting motion to add color, and that helps me stay within the lines. I also like to end up using the darker color first to add where the shadows will be on my image, and then I'll bring in the lighter color and make sure that I overlap the two to help blend them together. That ends up giving me a more dimensional look with my coloring. I've now brought in my Melon Mambo Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to use those to color in my strawberries. Here you can see maybe a little bit better what I'm doing when I do my coloring. I add the dark shadows first, then I add the light and I blend them together. I'm really happy with how these have turned out. Next, I'm going to use one of the pattern papers and I'm going to cut some of the jars of jam out from the paper. This is called fussy cutting. If you're not familiar with how to do this, the best way to fussy cut and make it look nice is to make sure that you leave a little bit of a border around what it is that you're cutting. You also want to make sure that you are moving your paper rather than moving your scissors. Paper crafters seem to have either a love relationship with fussy cutting or a hate relationship with fussy cutting. And I am definitely one of the latter, but I can't deny that it does help me create additional embellishments because I can cut images out of paper. I'm going to start adding the images that I've fussy cut and die cut onto my layout so that I can work on continuing to create my embellishment clusters. You may notice that I also used the blueberry image to create some cranberries by coloring in the image with some cherry cobbler Stampin' Blends. I wanted to incorporate cranberries into this layout because one of the pictures is of a Christmas jam that I made, which used cranberries in the recipe. You may have noticed that I also have a die cut now on the bottom left-hand page, and that die comes from the Filled with Sweetness die set, and the stamp that says Homemade for You comes from the stamp set. I'm going to work on starting to place these images around my layout to work on creating my visual triangle. As a reminder, this video is part of the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team Mystery Envelope Challenge. So make sure you stay tuned to the end where you'll be able to access the playlist that will bring you to all of the other videos that were created by the designers for this challenge. I'm continuing to move the embellishments around on my layout so that I can try to get them into a place that I like. I continue to try to make sure that I'm not covering up the jar of jam that is in my hand in my left-hand picture, and so that's creating a challenge with how I'm going to end up placing my embellishments. A full list of all of the products that I have used to create this layout is going to be located in the description box, so make sure you check that out once you're done watching the video. At this point, I realize I want to create my title for this page so that I have a better idea of how big I need the embellishment cluster at the top of my page. I'm going to bring in even more of the blue paper by creating my title using Print Then Cut, and then using the wood grain from Country Woods to back my title. Once I put that into position at the top of my layout, I have a much better idea of where I want to place my embellishments at the top of the page. And now that I have them in position, I'm going to hold with my finger, put some glue down, and then make sure that I hold the image down so that I glue it directly into the place that I want, and that works well with my title and my other embellishments. I wanted to make sure that I got that splat visible behind the jam jar. And then I popped the title up on a little bit of foam tape to give it some added dimension in that embellishment cluster. Next, I move on to the cluster that is around my journaling block. And I'm going to use one of the jars of jam, the strawberry to cover up the smear I talked about before, and one of the blueberries. I then move back to the embellishment cluster on the far left at the bottom of my left-hand page. I'm still trying to move these elements around so that I'm not covering up the jar of jam in my hand, and also have an embellishment cluster that feels cohesive. Out of curiosity, I'm wondering if anybody has counted how many times I have said jam jar or jar of jam, because man, does it feel like a lot. As I'm looking at this embellishment cluster, I start to realize that I think I need another element behind the jars of jam to help them stand out a little bit more. I bring in another piece of the marbled elegance paper and use my Spotlight on Nature dies to cut a circle. As I'm trying to place that behind, I realize that it's not really working with me because the circle feels like it's too big. I used the die cut that I made that says homemade for you, and realized that I like the shape of that for behind this cluster. So I cut out another one using the same marbled elegance paper and placed that behind the jars of jam to help give some additional dimension and color behind the embellishment cluster. For my last cluster, I'm going to move the strawberries down a little bit and put the cranberries right with that by this canning lid. And with that, I feel like this layout is complete. I'm bringing in the sketch one more time so that you can compare the original sketch to what I created. I feel like I met the challenge of bringing in old with the Country Woods and Marbled Elegance collections, new with the Homemade Sweetness elements, borrowed with the Gears and Textures stamp, and blue with the different blue papers that I've incorporated into this layout. I'm really happy with how the flags turned out on this banner, and love the pops of color from the Melon Mambo combined with all of the blues that I chose to use. These canning lids look so awesome on this lunar luster paper, and they're so shiny and fun under the light. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and also check out the playlist to see what the others created. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and craft on.